Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to be with you tonight and to discuss my new book. This is one of the things that I love to do most, and it gives me great pleasure that I can share it with all of you. The book came to me in a sort of a haze in Harry's Bar in Venice. Harry's Bar is a small place, but it is in effect a microcosm of all of that great and beautiful city which has been so well described by those writers Ruskin, Sinclair Lewis, Byron, and others. The hero, if he can be called a hero, of this book is a young colonel, 18 years old. He was made a colonel, no one knows quite how, and stationed in Trieste for his own sins. He is a fanatic at shooting at all things, including objects floating down the Grand Canal, and he has come to Venice to practice his, shall we say, avocation. In Venice, in Harry's Bar, which has become almost a sacred place to those of us who know it and who have enjoyed both the credit and the hospitality of Cipriani, he meets an Italian, or rather, should we say, a Venetian countess, aged 86. In the corner of the room is a princess of Greece named Aspasia. The young colonel is mad about the princess of Greece, but still he has his countess and his obligations. The action of the book, ladies and gentlemen, only takes place during a period of 48 days, during which the colonel, who is continuously in Harry's Bar, known to the local residents or indigentes as Ciprianis, is continuously drunk due to his own efforts and his credit with Signor, speaking Italian, Cipriani. For 40 of these 48 days, the colonel is unable to find his countess. She has taken refuge in the Basilica. Naturally, she is given full facilities there and enjoys herself very much, looking out of the upper windows and studying the action of the pigeons. During this time of indecision for the young colonel, who is on indefinite leave, by the request of his superior officers, he makes the acquaintance of a beautiful Venetian maiden, aged no one knows what. Some say 16, some say 17, others, who are treacherous, say 18. She, through her powers of seductiveness, induces him to visit the island of Tornicello. The colonel is accompanied by his faithful black priest, who is his spiritual advisor and can almost be regarded as his spiritual manager. Together, they make a pilgrimage to this island, a very ancient part of the lagoon which surrounds Venice, a town which I shall describe later after consulting my Baedeker. It is love at first sight between the colonel and Aftera. There is nothing to be done. It is a hopeless love, but much can come colonel takes advantage of this situation in a manner which might be criticized in certain circles, but which we will attempt to condone due to the presence of his faithful black priest, who at this moment has passed out. Aftera, or Aftera, as the name is pronounced by the local inhabitants, is indomitable. Nothing like her has been seen since Attila the Hun sat in the sacred chair of Tornicello. The colonel, who is an extremely devout Catholic, having only been expelled from the church at the age of 16, loves Aftera as he has never loved anyone in all of his existence. Aftera loves him as she loves the front page of Europeo. What greater comparison can we make? God himself is absent for a time, probably on his own business, but he returns to Tornicello to bring happiness to these star-crossed lovers. Aftera and the colonel marry. But, ladies and gentlemen, there is tragedy in all of this. There is a tragedy that one can hardly say without having his voice break. Aftera is the victim of a heart condition, a cardiac condition, acquired during her youth. The colonel cannot stand to see her die, and so he himself swims off into the sunset, headed, as far as we know, toward Georgia, a fishing port. Well down the coast, but the colonel can swim, and we hope that he can make it. This, in a quick resume, is the story of my new book, and I hope that everyone will buy it, paying $3, and the 20% of each of these $3 will go to me to pay Gallaretta and other people first, and then to go to the Fundación Aftera, which is to commemorate that great soul who has brought us such happiness. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. When I was a young boy, it was not necessary to pay any money to women. Later, I paid money to a few women to whom I wished all good things well. The principal woman of these was one named Alice, who weighed approximately 258 pounds. Her fee for love was $2, but she did not collect this fee if love was made satisfactory, and she often loaned me money, get a can of beans or something else, in order that I might fight or box or attempt to box or attempt to fight in northern Michigan. She was a very beautiful girl in spite of her weight, and I love her dearly still. I never had the good fortune to know Miss Matahari, since at the time that she was of such importance, I was a simple lieutenant, and she was consorting with general officers and cabinet rather heavy around the hip, and to have more desire for what was done to her than what she was giving to the man who gave her. After the war, I worked in 3 whorehouses, which were located in Billings, Montana, Red Lodge, Montana, and Cody, Wyoming. I was young at the time and trying to write, and it was difficult to preserve the balance between trying to write and working in a whorehouse where every Saturday night you broke your hand. In Billings, Montana, I broke my hand every Saturday night due to the influx of local citizenry who lived in the outskirts and came in to have fun, and at the end of it wished to fight, and I was forced to fight with them and take them outside. This is not a profitable trade. After my hands were broken, and I did not think that I could continue in Billings and continue my writing, I moved to Red Lodge, where we only had to throw people out of the whorehouse on Saturday night because they were mostly thin and were usually armed with knives. Although they were very good people, and I liked them very much. In Red Lodge, where I had to fight only on Saturday night, my hands cured quite well and became strong again, or as strong as they could be in a small way, and I then proceeded to Cody, where I had been offered a profitable position, much as my friend, the millionario, Roberto Herrera y Sotolongo offered. The hands were still broken when I left Red Lodge, but by taping them, I could get by at Cody, which is not a very difficult town to bounce in, because the people who come there are well known, and you know their faults, and can hit them as you wish. In Cody, I was quite successful and met many interesting whores, professional whores, and since I did not believe that there were any good girls, and I cared nothing about the idea of them, since I had already abandoned any hope or fear of them. In Cody, we had many interesting fights for those who watched them, but they were not of anything to be broadcasted, nor television, nor put on any form of radio activity. In Cuba, an island where I live, though I am not a citizen thereof, and do not subscribe to their politics, I have known as whores various people. We will mention none of their names. As regards amateur whores, I have known a vast group of them. They are much duller than the professional whores because they are not conscious of their métier. Métier is a French phrase which means in Spanish oficio, and in American means their trade. I could describe these women for a long time, and it would probably or possibly interest you, my radio audience, but I do not propose to describe them nor to say anything about them until a previous broadcast, which we will hold at another date. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Don Andre, Mr. Sinsky, Roberto, Gianfranco, Miss Mary, que está desparatido, y told all